Smooth operator. All right.
They were intentionally withholding them from you for their own financial gain. If you partner with us and pay us an affiliate commission, we'll let you control which discount codes are shared on our platform. And we'll tell our consumers we scoured the internet and found them the best deal possible.
This is a scam Ed and Nettie wouldn't even pull for Jawbreakers. Every component of honey is a fucking lie. Every single piece of honey is exploitative. Every single one. So in this video, he talked about how it's scamming consumers as well as the influencers that have promoted it. And he teases that in part 2, there's an entirely new victim that is also getting fucked by honey. Megalag leads into the upcoming part by stating that in his experimenting and his investigation, he noticed there were times where honey worked extremely well to an almost unbelievable degree with discounts and deals that just made no sense with everything else he was finding, and sometimes it wasn't overriding the affiliates. So it wasn't making sense how that discrepancy was happening with everything else he had learned. And then it clicked and he figured out what was going on. So that's what part 2 is going to focus on. And he has some interviews that he has at like a sizzler reel at the end. It's actually incomprehensible just how deep this rabbit hole goes. It really just seems like everything about PayPal Honey is fraudulent, just a full-blown scam. Like that's what it seems. Like, I don't know how any of it could possibly be explained away or justified. I mean, shit, even when they were directly asked about it, they were like, yeah, hey, that is what it is. If honey's the last thing you click, yeah, we're taking the affiliate. Like, what? Honey is usually going to be the last thing that someone clicks if you have honey, because you might as well check if there's discounts. That's like the whole selling point of honey. But not only is it not actually finding you the best coupons, if it's even finding you coupons, it is then stealing the commission from the affiliate that got you there in the first place. So it's fucking everybody for doing nothing. And even when it is actually doing full-blown nothing, where it's on a site that doesn't have honey gold, it has no coupons, it will still pop up just to say nothing. It just goes, and then you click got it to get rid of it, and then it will still steal the commission. It is just crazy how scummy this is. I cannot imagine that what honey is doing and how it operates is legal. It can't be. It shouldn't be if it somehow is through loopholes. That is completely unacceptable. And Megalag's investigation is extraordinary. A huge thanks to Megalag for bringing all of this information to light. It's an incredible video. Again, I highly recommend you check out the full thing. There's going to be a link to it in the description of this one. I didn't even cover all of it. He has done an immaculate job with this investigation. This is up there with CoffeeZilla's best work. This is incredible. So huge thanks to Megalag for doing this. So yeah, that's really about it. See ya.
Let's just go ahead and get rid of most of this. You want to hear another, what you call it? I need to get here. I need to get on this channel right here, the Mark Reads Reddit channel, and be able to reply back. Oh my God, a Bentley. There's some pretty Bentleys out there. Not all of them. Not all of them, but there's some pretty ones out there. Anyway, I need to get on y'all and mute that. Hey, everybody. Okay. There we go. Bro, don't talk, or like, I don't talk. Do not talk, or I don't talk. We're going to set a goal of 50 super chats that will request something. And we're going to see what happens here. Yeah, cool. So what's up, everyone? Oh, apparently Mr. Beast is here. Let's see here. I am absolutely not an artist. Taking some AI work here that I prompted with what I wanted. I'm just going to kind of fade this. And I'm going to come up with hopefully a funny speech bubbles here. I want to keep the shadow here. Oh, I'm a little too thick. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I like that just fine. I love these weird, crazy AI faces. Look, she has something coming out of her stomach. I don't even know what that is. That's wild. I don't know. Let's go. It got the word diner right. That's pretty impressive. Usually it's some weird amalgamation of words and some kind of strange symbols or letters, but we are going to clean that up a little bit here too, and then we're going to start adding some color. Still on the same layer, right? Yeah. Cool. You want a little brighter here? Maybe I can do that for you. There you go. I don't want to go too bright. I don't need it that bright. All right, let's take the fade up a little bit here. There we go. Leave a little bit of shadow. Diner, what do you think? We can clean that up, I think. Take that color. Too much. Go back. All right. All right, let's turn that D into there we go. All right, let's get a little bit heavier. Let's get a little bit. Whoa, too big. Way too big. Too much. There you go. My diner look okay? That looks better. We'll fade out the opacity here a little bit. Too much. There we go. Perfect. Who do you love and give up on and when? Rashad, hey, Rashad, yeah, AI drew this. I have some other pieces I finished already. I'll show you here. I thought were fun. You know, AI comes up with most of this, and then I will make some edits, you know, throughout, and that's it. I think it's really fun. What was the last one I did? Where's my robot one? There it is. I like that one a lot. So there you go. Anyway, I'm just having some fun with it. This one took me the longest, but was also the most rewarding. There you go. It took a long time on everyone's tattoos back here. All the ladies' tattoos. Okay, I'm back. Had to tell them to shush. Anyway. But, oh yeah, here's another one I did. Luna, stop it, little girl. Yeah, just getting silly with it is all. Anyway. Pretty weird, funny, silly. There you go. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to working on this one here. I need to fix some faces here. I kind of like hers. Man, they do good on the cars. All right, I want to fix the diner back here still. I don't like the crazy inconsistencies here. It's okay to have some, you know. All right, let's go. Slightly bigger brush. Too big. There we go. Let's get it, mix in a little bit of the dark here. We're just doing broad strokes here. Then I would, whoop. Nope. I would like to flatten this. Hey, stop it, Daisy. No, I cannot draw a Lamborghini. Thank you. Daisy, stop it, little girl. We're just gonna kind of scribble across that here. But they did a pretty good job on the spokes. I mean, they're wonky, but they did a pretty good job. I say they, but it, whatever. But let's go ahead and fix. This is the mouth, right? So I want to sharpen that up a little bit. Let's take some of that color, go smaller, much smaller. Even smaller than that, maybe a 1. Whoa, way too big. Right, okay. Let's take, trying to sharpen that up. Smooth operator. Let's darken that line up a little bit. That's not bad, I guess. I would like to take some kind of art class, know how to draw this kind of stuff. Okay, I like that line. It's a good line. Okay. Car's wonky, headlights are good though, but I'm really just trying to come up with an idea. Let's black out those eyes completely, huh? It's pretty creepy. I'm trying to come up with an idea for what they'll be talking about. I usually have an idea when I'm writing in the prompt. How about some sunglasses? You want to throw some sunglasses on them? Make the opacity up a little bit. Make some aviators out of these. Yeah, Yellow Meat Daisy. Whoops. Turned on Siri. Yellow Meat Daisy. I'll give her a bath, and the rest of the crew. Whenever it's their bath time. What's up, Daniel? Pretty bad, huh? Bloop. Granted, it's, you know who that looks like? It looks like the guy, Salt Bay. Doesn't it? Kinda, I think. There we go. All right, let's put on. Nope, that looks terrible, huh? Where would it go? Right here? Right there? How? Let's see. No. Actually, maybe not. He's got no nose. And his hands, looks like he's wearing some kind of weird glove. Anyway, I'm just doing this to fill time, so I come up with something that they'll say, you know? I want them to say something cool here. Let's see, we got 2 humans talking to one, and then 1 robot over here. Whoops. The robot over here on a bike, kind of bike without any handles. Well, why would he need handles in the first place? Probably doesn't. Anyway, that nose is wild. Very human nose. I love it. Okay. So, about the weather. What color do y'all want? Is this a bus? Yeah, it's a bus, and the AI took it and it went one direction and then it went another direction. So it's like going to the left and coming forward if you look at it closely. But that's what AI is. Like, you can, when you start looking at something long enough, then you're like, oh, that's wrong, and that doesn't look right. And now, granted, it has gotten a whole lot better, but it still doesn't quite have it. Maybe, let's see, what could they be talking about here? If y'all want to give me some suggestions here, I wouldn't mind. Let's see, we got a car back here and another car. It looks like it hit it, possibly. Maybe these two are talking about exchanging insurance information. But she's walking from over there, not from over there. I want the robot. I don't know. I'm not feeling this one right now. I got a lot of other ones that I could play with. Let's do something with a little more color, huh? All right. This is a little closer too. Okay. So, let's get rid of the text. First things first. There we go. There we go. See, these aren't even words. I mean, they are, but they're not in the correct order. AI still doesn't generate, like, if it's generating an image, it doesn't generate speech well. But if it's generating speech, it can't generate an image. Like, you know, like if you use ChatGPT or something like that, you'll have a great time using it, but don't expect any miracles from it. Look at her dress, pretty dope. It's almost like a Gucci dress a little bit there. Funny. All right, trying to think here, what can I write? Like, what the hell is this thing in the background? What is that? I have no idea. Okay, Stop it, you two. Daisy May. Old grandpa here. Okay. Their faces are odd. That's what I like about it too, though, you know? Trying to smooth out the strange impurities of AI. That's almost an eye, you know what I mean? He has some kind of interesting mark on his face. Smooth operator. No, I want to keep that part right there. Like, that is, might as well be an eye, right? I'm gonna smooth this out. There we go. That looks a lot better. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and slowly turn the opacity down quite a bit on this one. Cool. Just trying to smooth that a little bit better, you know. Turn the opacity down even more, maybe like 30%. There we go. Smooth it in to the rest of the nose. Yeah, that's a lot better. Cool. Let's go ahead and bring in the eye here. Yeah. All right. Get rid of this little spot here. Make his hair nice. Cool. I think we should just get rid of that line altogether. I don't think we need that line. Turn the opacity up. There we go. This is either going to be skin color or hair color. It can't be whatever this weird yellow bit is. We're gonna make it skin color. Very satisfying fixing these little pixels. Okay. Let's go ahead and shape up his hair a little bit. Let's make it a little bit sharper, huh? Hey Cupid, this is the first time I've seen you on my stream. So usually people that have become mods over time have been here consistently and I've talked to them a lot. So if you show up a lot and you know we talk a lot, sure, I can make you a mod. All right, let's pink up this a little bit. His nose, drop the opacity quite a bit. There we go. Nope. Kind of fade that harsh line into the nose. Oh, you have been here. Well, need y'all to talk. If y'all have been talking, sorry I missed it, but there we go. Julius, I'll tell you what I told Cupid just a minute ago. You know, if I don't see you on here very often, or you're not active in the chat, I kind of need y'all to be. Well, then we can talk about mod stuff. Got a little sunburnt neck here, I see. Let's soften that up a little bit. There we go. Actually, here we go. Yeah, just keep showing up, man. Julius. There we go. I don't want to go full pink here. I'm just gonna kind of do kind of a light. I mean, I'm taking his skin color here, obviously, but just turning the opacity down quite a bit. My screen got dark all of a sudden. I need to turn off that auto dimming thing here. I don't use this iPad very much. That looks pretty good. Besides his lips probably, I guess, I don't know. We can take them in. What about that? See what that looks like. If we do that, we can sharpen it up too. There we go. Make that all one piece, right? Kind of looks like he's got lipstick on. Let's pull this back a little bit here and make this a little more skin toned here, this part. And less lip, you know what I mean? I need a new brush here. Let's get something a little sharper. What does this look like? It was pretty good. I like that. Thanks, y'all. We're gonna smooth this out a little bit, give them a little more skin, less lip. Right about here. There we go. And then I can blacken that a little bit more now. There we go. Now I can color that in. I guess, or maybe we need to add some more skin lip right here. Yeah. And then black up top. How's that? That's good. That's fine. For the purposes here. Smooth out the chin. Yep. Not exactly sure what that's meant to do there. Okay. His face, yeah, it's mostly good. Let's fix that eye a little bit. We can scoop the eye. Need a small, tiny brush. Scoop the eye about there, maybe. Nope, that looks insane. Let's give you, turn down that opacity. Give her some more defined line there. Hi, Georgie boy, what are you doing? thank you, Cupid. I appreciate that. Trying to come up with something silly for them to be saying, to be talking. Let's see here. Let's give her some more skin color. Here, she's got ruby red lipstick. That's nice. What should she be saying? I like very odd things, you know? Like, I want it to be super silly, and it doesn't even really have to make sense. It really doesn't. Just looking for ideas. There we go. Something about a dog. Okay. I'm gonna go dark with it. I'm gonna go dark. So we got a speech bubble from the lady, speech bubble from the car or inside the car, right? And then another speech bubble that makes no sense there. How about we get rid of the third speech bubble and I will write in, here, I'll surprise y'all with it, but let's get rid of the speech bubble first. All right, yeah, okay. Crank it up. Yep. Whoop. Bigger brush. Why is the opacity so low? Oh, it's a pencil, that's why. Let's go with ink, the Big Easy. I like that one. There we go. Get rid of that. Okay. Opacity. Okay. That's very satisfying. Sorry, I'm checking tonality of this area. Looks okay. Yeah, it looks okay. Turn the brush way down. I don't care if there's like a little bit of white edge, you know, kind of gives it some depth almost. I'm also not an artist, so that could be completely wrong. All right. Fix that little guy. One more pass. Oop. What do you think? Fixed? Nope, need to get rid of some of that white. Little too much. I'm keeping the opacity like at half, so it's not such a hard line. Oh yeah, I still see you there. I still see you. Here, we're going way in. Turn it down to 1. There we go. Oh, I know why. Let's get some white in there. There we go. Right there. Yep. Okay, that one's fixed down there. Let's fix that one right there. A little too much green. Okay, too many pixels there. All right, let's do, I still see it. It's right there. There we go. I'm just putting in an ever so slight. Perfect. Perfect. That is perfect. Okay, now I'm going to go to the internet where I get my text from. It's just a free font. Since I can't download a font, I mean, maybe you can on this iPad. I just enter it in here and then take the image. So let's go with, is the dog well, take off shift, still in the car. All right. Generate. There we go. No. Is the dog still in the car, or how about did we leave the dog in the car? It could be something else. I don't know. That's fine. All right, we're going to download that. Open with Procreate. There. I don't have anything too personal there. Just names for my friends and my friends' actual names. All right, go back to AI, get the font, take that, copy the font, boop, back to the gallery, back to AI. What are we? We're on that one. Okay, let's just drop it in, paste. There it is. All right. So we're going to squeeze that in there. I think, let's go actually, because I want to fill up the bubble, you know? So if I put, is the dog right up there still in, how about we take off the car and put it underneath it? I think that'll be better actually. So we're on that right image, that's good. So we're going to go to freehand, still in, oh yeah, we're gonna take the car out of that. All right, so we'll take that, cool. And then we will go back. Oh, that kind of needs to be a new layer, doesn't it? Yeah. All right, let's go back here, new layer. No, did not want to do that. All right, we got a new layer. Yes. Move that layer. Okay. Let's try again. Why is it? Just keep doing that to me. Are we on? Is it only going to let me do it on the right layer? Hey, thanks, Christopher. I'm probably not even on the right layer. But how about we just, I think though, unfortunately, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's try it. Let's try it. Y'all ready? Yeah. Whoops. Nope. Nope. Undo. 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 Okay. Yep. There. Paste. Cool. I was stressing over nothing. That was silly. All right. Let's do that. Maybe tilt a little bit. Just a little. Okay. Is the dog still in the car? Whoops. Okay. All right, so we are on layer 3 at the moment. I want to tweak this just a little bit. And that is not going to happen. Interesting. So if I delete that whole layer, nothing bad happens. Fine. So be it. All right, we're just going to go here. Blow that up just a little bit. Is the dog still in the car? Okay, let's fix still in. right there. That looks all right. Luna Moon. Luna, hey, come here. Okay. All right, is the dog still in the car? Cool. Now for the punchline of the joke. We are going to call yes, Barbara. Let's say let's go there, generate text, download, open with Procreate. All right. Go to the gallery. I wish I could actually draw like this stuff. This is amazing. I can't do that. Copy. I can almost write like that. That is similar. That's for a sticker. It's pretty similar to how I do write most of the time. Where's my car? There it is. All right, let's paste it up. Whoop. Add, paste. Cool. All right. I gotta go get breakfast. I'll come back though if you're still on. Okay, appreciate it, Cupid. Thanks for stopping in. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for talking with me. I'm always doing live streams, whether it's this, which I will be doing much more now, much more often because I've been doing this much more often, or working out, or gaming. I live stream. That's the gist of it. There you go. What do you think of the joke? Pretty simple. She says, "Is the dog still in the car?" And the dog in the car says, "I have a name, Human." The dog's name isn't Human, but he's talking to the human, like the human's talking to the dog, because she's saying the dog. If you have to break down a joke, it's never funny, but some of them are funny, some of them meh. Go enjoy your breakfast, Cupid. I'll be here. I'll be around. Look at this poor lady's face. All right, let's feed my dogs, actually. What time is it? It is 5:30. I like the darker jokes, typically. I'll show you what I mean. Like this one. This is the one I did earlier today. Pretty dark. And then some of them are just kind of niche jokes, if you will. You know, they make me chuckle. So I'm not in it for anyone else, really. If it makes me laugh, that's why I do it. All right. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna feed these puppies right now. Yeah, you know what time it is. Sit. Sit. Stay. Stay. Sit. Stay. Get back. Sit. Stay. Get back. Sit, Georgie. Stay. All right. Stay. Say what I will do though. Maybe play some penguin. Stay. Play some penguin 0 for y'all. So it sounds like I'm here. Let's go back to, where's my penguin man? There we go. Videos, biggest scam. Oh, Hawk Tua girl responded.
It's been nearly 3 weeks since our world was flipped upside down in the wake of the catastrophic Hawk Tua coin crypto scam from Haley Welch and her team of worms. We put our faith into the most trusted person we knew, Hawk Tua girl, to deliver a crypto that could replace the US dollar. And what happened next, no one could have seen coming. It wasn't on the Mayan calendar, and Baba Vanga didn't predict it. We were all caught by surprise when it turned out Hawk Coin was a rug pull scam. It led to one of the most devastating financial blows this nation has faced since the Great Depression. Many are now homeless, out there scavenging for morsels of Solana, getting dowsing rods out, trying to track down just little tiddlywinks of Solana to hopefully try and recoup their Hawk Coin investment. God rest their souls. And when the world needed her most, she vanished like the Avatar. Hawk Tua girl went into hibernation, signing off with a "I'm going to bed" line in a Twitter space, never to be heard from again.
Not for the token price itself, but just in terms of the fact that there's fees that are being generated, there's an actual, like,
Hey guys,
income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
She really does sound like Sandy Cheeks yapping through an Xbox 360 microphone. So she was in this Twitter space where people were going over Hawkcoin after the apocalypse unfolded with the huge rug pull and everyone losing all of their money except for the team on the inside, of course. And this is how she signed off. And it's been 3 weeks since she powered down. So she's been slumbering for a while now. But friends, what if I told you, just like Smog, awakening on that pile of gold, Hawk Tua girl has also awakened. 3 weeks later, she has finally received that kiss from a prince, that prince being a lawyer, most likely, that has made her eyes shoot open and immediately go to Twitter to let everyone know how seriously she's taking this whole situation. She's gonna get to the bottom of what happened here, because it's a mystery to all of us. Do you think Hawk Tua girl's response is good? Man, absolutely not. She finally woke up after 3 weeks or whatever, and she just drops this. Take the situation extremely seriously. Want to address my fans, the investors who have been affected in the broader community, and fully cooperating with and have committed to assisting the legal team representing the individuals impacted, as well as to help uncover the truth, hold the responsible parties accountable, and resolve this matter. If you experience losses related to this, please contact Berwick Law. What do you mean uncover the truth? I'm sure you were too stupid to know what a rug pull was, but I mean, it's still, at the end of the day, your fault. It's like that scene in SpongeBob where he's like, "Maniac on the loose," and he's got the walkie-talkie out, and there's the picture of the maniac behind him, and it's SpongeBob. That is literally Haley Welch right now. You saw that Twitter response too? Did someone already make that joke? God damn it. SpongeBob's too hot right now, I can't even get the references out first. That's right, Hawk to a Girl is on the case. We're gonna get to the Hawk trutha about this crypto scam. And Haley Welch is just the intellectual beacon of hope that we needed to figure it out. It's painfully obvious Haley Welch is not the one that wrote this statement. You can tell by the use of commas. Hawk to a Girl would never. This is someone on her PR team that's spearheading this effort to try and do damage control. There's been a lawsuit filed as a result of the Hawk meme coin rug pull, so she is now definitely in a crisis mode. I also imagine all the parasites around Haley that actually control her, because she has become so big to the point where she now has a whole PR team and an entire agency behind her. So they are working her like a puppet. It's like fucking Weekend at Bernie's out there with Haley Welch's body. And I'm guessing they're telling her to shut the fuck up and not do what she did when this first happened, going into a Twitter space and making herself look even worse, and this whole thing look even more shady. So that's why she's been so quiet, and will probably stay quiet until they resolve this behind the scenes, or hope that people just forget about it. It still blows my mind how she got extremely lucky out there with winning the lottery, where she was able to spin an entire career off a fucking 5-second meme clip of her talking about spitting on a wiener. That doesn't happen all that often. It happened with the Costco guys as well. They also got super lucky just from one meme. But think of all of the people who didn't. Some of the biggest memes for their time, like Damn Daniel. He didn't become an internet superstar sensation with his own podcast. You know, the fucking Damn Daniel every Tuesday. There's nothing like that. She got so lucky, and she's already cashed in all of that shit for one crypto rug pull. Now, I don't think it's going to ruin her career. She's probably still going to be fine. People will ironically still support Talk Tua and the Hawk to a Girl ventures, because she's a clown that people like to make fun of, and she makes a lot of money off being that clown. But it's crazy she got so lucky and then so quickly did the scummiest shit you could do by scamming her whole audience. Now, most people saw this coming, but not everybody. There were some actual delusional idiots that put money into this that definitely deserve to have their money lost. I'll go ahead and say it. I've said it multiple times. If you actually put money into Hawk Coin thinking that it was somehow going to be a good financial investment, you definitely deserve to have her come out there and fucking spit on that thing. Imagine getting this lucky and having the easiest path in life laid out before you. You need only walk it, and you don't even have to walk it that hard. And yet, you still fuck it up in the most avoidable way possible. She had an extremely successful and lucrative career spin out of actually nothing, and she still managed to wipe her ass with it. All she had to do was clock in once a week for Talk to a Tuesday, where she sits there like a lobotomite saying nothing, or being extremely clueless when a topic comes up, and she'd have tons and tons of people still continue to support it till the cows fucking come home, and she could have rode that horse for years. She could have continued to milk that cow, and the milk would have never ran dry. She didn't have to do anything special. She didn't even have to be all that careful, because people would support her no matter what, whether it's ironically or unironically, because now it's a blend of both. So all she had to do was just stay the course. But she couldn't. She saw too many dollar signs in her eyes. She got a little too greedy and couldn't resist putting her hand in the cookie jar to squeeze a little bit extra juice out of the lemon here. So she pulled a huge scam on her audience, not realizing that that's a bad thing. Though I also don't think she even realized what she was doing in the first place, because all she cares about is what her team tells her to care about. That's the impression I get. And someone on her team connected her to Doc Hollywood and the Goof Troop and whatever, and they all said, we're going to make a meme coin, people are going to love it, we're going to make a ton of money, and she just said yes, off rip. I'm sure she gave it no more thought than that. I am confident she has never even heard the word crypto until her team told her about it. If you asked her right now what Solana is, she'd probably be trying to relate it to some species of bird or something. She has no clue what any of this shit means. All she knew is that she was told that she'd make a lot of money off it and said, sign me up. At least that's my best guess of what went on behind the scenes. But maybe I'm downplaying Haley Welch's nefarious galaxy brain. Maybe she was the one that put all of the puzzle pieces together here and said, let's run a crypto scam. Maybe she's only playing the fool, but is actually a turbo genius. Food for thought. Don't think that's the case. I think it's pretty clear from the Twitter space, she does not know what is even going on. At all. And not even close. But it is her fault. And her team's fault. So, we'll see what happens here. Like I said, I don't think she's gonna go to jail or anything, because they don't actually prosecute for financial crimes like this in the crypto space. And I don't think she's going to have her entire internet career ruined from it, because people, regardless, are just going to keep championing Hawk to a Girl as like this silly meme that they ironically love, which leads to it being more than ironic at that point. So she'll probably end up being just fine. But I think for now she's going back to bed. Posted that yesterday, hasn't put. A delusional psychopath tried swatting someone. What happens next will shock you. Dusting off the old Darman reference here for this one. So some miserable, horrible lady tried to swat someone. I'm sure I don't need to explain what swatting is. It's a horrible, bad thing that'll land you permanently on Santa Claus's naughty list. And this lady looks and sounds like she's one glass of wine away from passing out face first into her copy of 50 Shades of Grey. But in between bouts of consciousness, she decided to commit a huge crime of swatting. And boy howdy, the shoe went on the other foot real quick. They actually found her. And when they brought her into custody, she started launching sonic-based attacks at the officers. It's a wild ride that I can't wait to take you on, thanks to the Code Bootcamp here providing all of the footage. We get a POV of what it's like to encounter a real-world banshee. But before we even see her, let's go ahead and get brought up to speed with the lore, the call, the emergency that she phoned in.
Hi, this is man with a gun, shooting with a gun. Can you spell the street name? I can't understand you. Do you have me on speakerphone? He's shooting with a gun. I understand that, and I'm going to send help, but I need to understand the street name. Okay, and who is shooting with a gun? There's a man. Okay, what is the man's name? I have no idea. Okay, how do you know this is going on? Oh my God, he's also with a gun shooting rabbits. Okay, how do you know this is going on? Oh my God, it's just I can see him shooting rabbits. He's shooting everywhere. Answer my question. How do you know this is going on?
No doubt she's a classically trained actress. That is a very convincing performance. Those acting chops could bring a tear to the eyes of even Margot Robbie. And she is using it for evil, nefarious purposes.
I have a few different dogs. They're all kind of mutts. One of them's Staffordshire. One of them's just a long girl, and then the other one's a small little long girl too. They're all kind of mixed breed.
She's talking about a man who's shooting. He's shooting rabbits. He's shooting everywhere, and refuses to give any real info. And then pauses after the operator's asking her how she even knows this is going on. She doesn't answer and then just hangs up.
Based on the nature of the call, all on-duty Brookfield police officers responded to the area immediately.
Bravo 510-123, there's nothing going on here. This is most likely a swatting call.
Dispatch later informed that the female caller had reached out again, stating she could see the man on her cameras and that he was still firing his weapon.
They sent out the whole kit and caboodle like they were about to bring down Cobra Commander. They got there, found nothing, but then the mysterious caller reaches out again, saying the same thing, that this maniac is out there firing his weapon. There's a maniac on the loose and we gotta get him. Only the officers were there. There was no gunshots. They even searched the area for casings, found nothing. They asked the homeowner nearby, nothing. So they were pretty confident it was a swatting call.
Well,
oh, okay. A Jack Russell and a Golden Kelpie and a Husky. Always wanted a Husky, but I live in Texas, so it'd be kind of mean to have it here. Would not have a good time. They're all, so the Staffy is very short hair. The little girl is short, and then they're all rescues. They're all, like I said, mixed breeds. If you go back to an old stream, I think it's like Dog Shower Time or something like that, a month ago, just go in the lives, you can see all the dogs.
On clearing the scene, the female continued to call 911 repeatedly from an unknown number. A sergeant instructed the clerks to forward all her calls to his desk phone.
She called them again and again and again, repeatedly just spitting this fraudulent fairy tale, this gobbledygook horseradish.
Oh, it's hot, yeah.
I don't know what
Australia's pretty hot.
Thinking in this point. She's like the Riddler, but 50 times as stupid. She's the shittler. So she's over there just spewing this shit. They are at the scene, so they know it's not real, and they just start forwarding those calls to Ace Detective Phoenix Wright's personal desk phone, and he happens to recognize her voice from previous interactions. Let that sink in for a moment. Marinate on that thought. A police officer interacts with so many people, and most of those interactions, I imagine, aren't overly positive. Do you know how annoying you have to be to have an officer remember your voice? That you were such a fucking nuisance that your voice left an imprint in their brain that even just audibly hearing you can activate a Winter Soldier moment for them where they remember your name and everything. All because you stained them with how annoying you were.
When she called again, he recognized her voice from previous interactions. A quick in-house database check soon revealed her identity as 36-year-old Ashley Corbin.
Is that consistent with what you say you're observing?
Yeah.
Okay, we have gone to the area where you have claimed this has been happening 3 times tonight?
Yeah.
Yep, you've seen us there?
Yeah.
So he got asshole Ashley on the horn here in order to corroborate these reports, saying that you've called 10 times now all about this, we've been out there and have seen nothing, and she's just like a broken record saying, yeah, yep, yes. I think she is a malfunctioning NPC. All she can say is, yeah. And he's just pressing her like, hey, we didn't see anything, you know, what's going on? She eventually says that the guy shooting is on camera, so the officer says, well, we'd love to see that footage. Shocker, you have no footage to show.
I would love to see the video footage if that's something that you can provide for us, because we have been unable to locate it. I sent an officer to look at that with you.
No. We want him to be stopped.
What's going to happen moving forward, we're going to be conducting an investigation for swatting. Are you familiar with that term?
I hope so. I hope that you guys are gonna take him his property into custody and investigate his whole property. I pray to God.
Well, her body is screaming for water, but the only thing it's getting is more and more wine. She is plastered. You can clearly hear it. She is not able to process at all what's happening here. He's even telling her to her face that they're investigating her for swatting, and she's like, oh, thank heavens. Goodness gracious, it's about time you guys do your job. He's an absolute menace out there. He's shooting, and you need to go investigate his property, and you need to take his property. I pray to God you go take his property, this and that. She doesn't realize what is happening here at all. Like, swatting is a very serious thing. Again, I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but people die from swatting. So it's something that's taken super seriously here. And she is not able to wrangle that fact at all.
Well, we're worried about our kids.
Yep, you've said that a couple of times, ma'am. If you were so worried about your kids, I think you'd be willing to talk to an officer about it.
Are you kidding me? Do you really want to go there?
We're going to pull the phone records from the phone company. We'll write the subpoena. Have you had any drinks tonight, ma'am?
Are you crazy?
No, ma'am. I'm trying to conduct this investigation for you.
Are you crazy, person?
Nope.
He's been shooting rabbits and doing all kinds of stuff.
He started to sniff out that she might be intoxicated, but Ashley's putting on a strong show of sobriety to throw him off the trail. Drunk? Me? No. You crazy? You're a crazy person? Is that what's going on here?
So, we're gonna end this. He's gonna pay us $1,500.
Oh, that's good for you.
Yeah, sure is.
Her neurons started to desperately fire as the realization must have started to sink in that they're not buying her story. So she starts to panic a little bit and tries to write a conclusion to the fanfic about how they just shook hands with $1,500 and everything's hunky-dory now. No need to send any pesky officers out there to check anything out because it's all squared away now, huh? Job well done.
Ashley Corbin, I remember her.
That's who I think it is. I think it's Ashley. Hello? Is this Ashley?
No, this is not Ashley.
Okay. This is Sergeant Greenman with the Brookfield Police Department. You called us?
Who is Ashley?
I thought this was Ashley.
Why would you think that?
The tables turn. The officers are pretty sure it's Ashley, so they call her this time to try and confirm those suspicions. And I think it's pretty obvious from the second she answers the phone, they got her. But She's trying to play it cool. Ashley? No, this is not Ashley. What makes you think it's Ashley? My name is Born. I'm actually surprised she answered this call with her normal inebriated voice instead of trying to fool them, throw a monkey wrench into their hypothesis by answering the phone with an accent or something. Top of the morning to ya! You know, something like that, and they'd be like, oh, well, clearly it can't be Ashley. This caller wasn't Irish, so we got the wrong person.
Guess what? My name's Lindsay. You can stop calling me Ashley. Thank you.
Okay, you should probably slow down on the drinking tonight, man.
You should probably stop being a
Okay.
The call starts to devolve into her treating this call like it's an Xbox Live lobby, so she just keeps calling him a bitch. It really gets very interesting. It's like a League of Legends chat at this point.
It was also revealed that Ashley had an active felony warrant and had repeatedly called another police agency earlier that day using vulgar and profane language.
Sorry.
Come on, let's go, bud. We get some more lore on Ashley, and the deeper it gets, the more confused I become at how someone can end up like Ashley. She was apparently calling another police agency that day as well to spew some mumbo jumbo, and then they eventually find her outside with her dog, and then she's yanking on the dog's leash, which eventually pops the leash off of the dog, and then she has to go on the side quest to get the dog back to get it inside. It's quite a journey.
I want my attorney first now.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. So I'm not going to talk to anybody without my attorney. Present.
Very well. I will pass on the Brookfield and we'll see what they say.
After a lengthy mission, they do finally get the dog, and the way she's holding him, she's holding it like it's a bioweapon. I've never seen someone hold a dog like that in my fucking life. She's got the dog's wiener pointed at the officers. I think she was hoping that it'd start peeing or something as a distraction so she could make a run for it. I don't know. But she's like holding the dog almost like it's the fucking Heisman Trophy or something. I don't get what she's doing, like with that dog. I feel terrible for the dog. Honestly, the best thing that could have happened is the dog gets off the leash and finds a new owner. She seems remarkably fucking lost and beyond off her gourd.
So, no, I'm not doing a swatting thing with a Brookfield. Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't joke about that.
That is a serious joke. Ken is a psycho.
I don't know who Ken is.
The guy?
We honestly don't know much of what's going on. We were told here to come pick you up, that you have a warrant, and Brookfield wants to talk.
I date a Brookfield officer, okay? My man is an officer, okay? I'm not gonna say because I don't want to.
You just said Singleton.
It's pretty clear that this woman is a pathological liar, and it only gets worse. She throws out some really heinous accusations in a bit. So right now, she's talking about how she wasn't behind the swatting. That's a very serious joke. That's not a knee slapper or a gut buster that you make gags out of. She would never do such a thing like that. And then she's talking about how she actually dates an officer. Won't name his name, but she dates an officer, and he probably wouldn't like what's happening here. He probably wouldn't like it. So her whole idea here, I think, was to try and, like, I don't know, say, like, hey, I date an officer, so I shouldn't be arrested, you know? I think that was the plan. It doesn't work, but I think that's what she was going for.
We need to go.
No, you're good. Well, we got.
Can you please come out?
Hey, be respectful. No, you can take it.
I was trying to go to the basement. I didn't know I was going to.
It's actually incredible how unlikable this woman is. A just normal person coming out of the elevator doing normal activities, and she yells at them to get out. Like, what the fuck? How could someone possibly be this much of an insufferable piece of shit? It's actually impressive.
That was kind of rude.
I am rude. I'm sorry.
They did nothing to you.
I'm a surgeon.
What?
I'm a surgeon. I am. So I'm very particular. So
What does that have to do with yelling at a lady?
I'm sorry.
Now she's saying that she's a surgeon. She just randomly blurts out that she's a surgeon. It's like a child when they're like making up a story when playing pretend, like SpongeBob and SquarePants in that box of imagination. That's her whole brain. I'm spitting. I'm actually spitting. That's how disgusted this woman makes me. She can't stop lying for even a second, and she can't stop being a piece of shit to people around her. And like the officer's even telling her, like, that was rude. Like this was just a person using this elevator, and now you're yelling at them. And she's like, I'm a surgeon. I'm a surgeon. I'm a surgeon. I like things to be particular. They're like, what? What? What does that have to do with anything?
I do stuff like very particular. Like, I do brain surgery.
Okay, let's take a look.
So it's very particular.
So does that mean you can deal with people?
I don't deal with people. So it's like I deal with people dealing with digging in people's brains and digging in. I'm sorry. That's what I do. You dig in, you go and deep five, and that's it.
Brain surgery. I like how she almost tried to drop some kind of scientific terms like, well, brain surgery. You see, it's actually very complicated, and it's why I'm a little particular about things. I don't deal with people. I'm dealing with brains. You know, you have to go D5. You know, knight to D5. You know, you saw it in Harry Potter when they're playing wizard's chess. Like, you guys wouldn't get it. I won't bore you with the jargon that you couldn't possibly understand with your tiny, feeble minds. Just know that because I'm a brain surgeon, it gives me the right to yell at people. And it gives me the right to call police departments 20 times a night reporting false crimes because, well, it's what I like to do as a brain surgeon.
You're lying, and you used me as a scapegoat under the bridge. You guys were harassing me under the bridge, and there was no cameras under there, and you guys were harassing me and putting me under the bridge.
She also left like a big bag of beer in front of someone's door. And
What's up?
Guys, me in the elevator.
Okay.
Yep.
We have body cameras.
And I have marks.
We have body cameras, and
Yep, and so do I.
if you want to file a false police report, you can go down there and look.
You're lying.
Her next series of lies isn't nearly as humorous as her brain surgeon storyline, where, you know, she received a lobotomy, thus she thinks she's a brain surgeon now or whatever. This one, she starts to try and spin a false rape accusation about how they were raping her on the elevator and under a bridge.
What they did to me, how they
We were saying the exit to go.
Yep, and how they me.
Let's go.
Yep, how he me and how this guy me. And this guy me. What is your name? I'm talking too loud, you me! I'm talking too loud, you me! You
Jesus. Yeah. Wow.
Embarks on the Screaming Gambit. This is a pretty advanced maneuver you don't see executed super often, never to any degree of success, where the person just then starts screeching and squealing. And it's what she does for the rest of the video. So she's still screaming that they raped her when there is body cam footage to prove that did not happen. That is a blatant lie. All she does is endlessly lie. It's craziness. And that is a awful thing to be lying about. And she's screaming it, and I think the idea was to try and like incite anger, to have like maybe people come in and like, I don't know, push over the officers to save her or something. I don't know what she's even trying to do with that accusation when there's clearly evidence that proves contrary. I think it's to try and like get out of the arrest. I don't really know, but it is unhinged lunacy.
Ashley, turn back around. Ashley, get back on the bench.
Ashley, you need to sit up and not trade on it.
When she eventually does get to the station, she lets out her best Joker laugh that she can muster. And to her credit,
It's good.
a maniacal, cartoonishly evil laugh.
It
that
is
she
good.
pulled off. It's pretty impressive.
Stand up.
Now you broke my arm.
Sit.
Now you broke my arm.
You need to sit
You
down.
broke my arm.
Oh my God. She keeps screaming.
Lord have mercy on all the poor souls that were watching this with headphones on. They're no longer with us. So she's now claiming they broke her arm when they went over to try and get her to sit up. They didn't actually even lift her, by
Nope.
the way. The second they like touched her, then she started saying that they broke her arm. Another bogus baloney fib here. Liar, liar, plants for hire. Holy cannoli. And now she is absolutely wailing. She is sounding like a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare. She sounds like if Toucan Sam ate a ghost pepper.
Oh my god. She's just sitting there on the bench and they're turning her legs to turn her sideways. She's like in her Ugg boots and it's ridiculous.
Do you have an NCIC for swatting?
Oh God, it's swatting. You guys are so fucking stupid. Swatting.
Golly, this lady keeps screaming.
She goes on and on and on and on and on. It sounds like the screaming goat meme. So that's kind of where that concludes, but she did receive some charges for it, but really got let off super easy. She, I think, only spent like 6 months in jail for blatant swatting.
Golly, 6 months. That's, wow. Okay. What else we got? Oh, the Ohio. Oh, yeah, I wanted to hear this one.
I can't believe it's taken me this long to learn about this. Earlier in the year, the Supreme Court of Ohio came up with what I believe to be the stupidest ruling ever put into the books that runs counter to common sense and is an insult to human intelligence. They ruled that boneless wings have nothing to do with whether or not there's a bone in the wing. It's a cooking technique. So boneless wings can have bones in them, and the onus is on the gluttonous eaters to expect that there might be bones in their boneless wings. It is one of the weirdest cases I've ever learned about, and it is so deep and so messy. So we got the brightest minds in Florida together again for a think tank, a little roundtable discussion going over this today.
How do you feel about justice?
Lukewarm.
Okay, well, let's throw the word Supreme Justice, as in the Supreme Court of Ohio. They upheld a previous ruling that boneless wings have nothing to do with the bones in the wings. It is simply a cooking method. When I told you guys about this, like, as a teaser, I did not realize this goes back 5 years. Some guy got a bone stuck in his throat.
It goes back more than 5 years.
Over an inch long, and went to the court and was like, please help me. And they're like, yeah, dude, sorry. Boneless doesn't mean no bones. And he's like, help, I need bigger courts. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, and multiple times they were like, yeah, no, dude, it's just about the cooking style. You can't have a reasonable expectation to have bones in them. Huh?
What is the cooking style?
Yeah, taking the bones out.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's like, if they say temperature or whatever, it's like, yeah, because it's going to be different temperatures because there's no bone in it.
Well, we all know bone, cremates at a very low temperature, lower than chicken.
Also, let's address one very important thing here, though, that we glossed over.
Too dark.
An inch can cause a big difference.
Over an inch and 3/8. Yeah.
Damn. See, every bit matters.
That got stuck in his throat.
Yeah.
Imagining like Looney Tunes where it's like popping out of
They call it like a sliver or a shard. That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Well, because the bones, like with dogs, you can't feed them like untreated bones because they can splinter.
Yeah, exactly.
Blow up their
Also, an inch and 3/8 of a bone is not a splinter or a sliver.
It's just a bone.
That's a fucking bone.
I'm flabbergasted again. Have you? So I haven't looked into this yet.
I just researched it a bunch.
Okay, so has anyone has there been actual discussion around it from authorities outside of the Supreme Court of goofballs?
So the only thing that I saw when it came to authority is that he wanted to produce a case that it was negligence to call them boneless wings and there were bones in them.
Which is absurd, by the way.
And something that he was told was, you should have known because chickens have bones in them.
This is the most Ohio case possible.
You think the framers of the Constitution had this quote in mind the laws of the land?
We're going to deal with the most important thing.
But by that logic, then, should they also expect the same from Tyson's chicken nuggets?
A quote from one of the Supreme Court justices: "A person eating chicken fingers would know that they had not been served actual fingers."
You know
know what? That is a good
That
argument.
is a great argument.
Also, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, having not read a Tyson bag of chicken nuggets. I'm gonna guess they don't say like 100% real chicken on them. Like there's probably some
But also,
disclaimer.
wait, that quote, they're not expecting fingers.
Right.
So he's saying in a boneless wing, you're not expecting boneless, which is already extremely different. That's one of the stupidest things I think a judge could ever say.
It's like a legit.
And I feel like he like straightened his tie and he was like, you wouldn't expect real fingers, would you? And I'm like, it's just boneless wings.
I think they probably wanted this guy out of there so fast.
Yeah, we're just done.
Like he was like, I really don't give a fuck. Like you would expect chicken fingers when you get chicken fingers. And the guy's like, wait, I have a retort. And they're like, no, it's actually
sorry. Case closed.
The veteran definitely came in and said, hey, I'm sorry, you got a case at like noon. There's a guy got a bone stuck in. The guy's like, oh. Yeah, no, yeah, sure, yeah. Send him away. It's how they cook it.
The vote ended up being 4-3 in favor that it is a cooking style and has nothing to do with the bones. The dissenting judges called the decision utter jabberwocky and said jurors likely have eaten boneless wings and have fed boneless wings to their children, expecting them to have no bones in them.
Well, and when a judge says utter jabberwocky, you don't expect the jabberwocky to show up.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe this is like an anti-literal era when you just say things and they don't have to mean anything anymore. You're good. Like you're just good.
Brother, that's the world we live in now.
I'm familiar with that. We have I have one devil's advocate I can play.
Oh God.
How many times have you ordered boneless wings and they're actually breaded like a bone-in wing?
Oh, like flats you mean?
Oh yeah. Like a wing you get, even if it's fried, it doesn't have like that puffy sort of crust.
Yeah. Like a chicken nugget.
Yeah.
The official decision on the cooking style, the meat is cut into a wing-sized shape, dipped in bread or batter concoction, and deep fried. That is the boneless wings cooking style.
That sounds like it leaves out all the bone though, which comes back to it is just a bone.
No, because it doesn't say debone. It just says cut into a bone or a wing like shape.
Also leads to chicken nuggets and chicken fingers are also boneless wings.
Yeah.
Based on
Right. I think in that definition they literally are.
They are, which is why he's talking about chicken finger. And this dude.
Dude, a quote from the original trial: common sense dictated the presence of bone fragments in meat dishes.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
No. It doesn't.
That's
boneless.
That is wrong because if I like get a Philly cheesesteak, I'm not checking for bones.
Yeah, exactly.
Philly might be in it.
That's true. By these metrics, all meat should have a chance at a bone. Like if I go and I get a fillet and there's a bone in there.
I think that's what they're saying is that there's a reasonable expectation that there could be a bone in it.
It extends to everything now. Like, just if you buy gluten-free bread and there happens to be gluten, I mean, it's bread. There should be an assumption of
there's an assumption of bread.
So you just disregard what it says it isn't.
What if I'm allergic to bones? What am I supposed to do?
If I made Aaron's Hooters, like restaurant Aaron's Hooters,
I would be there.
Everybody would be there. We'd be so busy, which may cause us to accidentally have bones in our boneless wing. But if someone came up and said, I got bone in my boneless wing, I'd be like, that is 100% my I wouldn't take them to court. I'd be like, you're right, you'll be compensated.
Is this like a restaurant?
Yeah.
I want to find which one it is.
We should go and check all of their boneless wings for bones.
I'm gonna guess Applebee's.
So, in this restaurant, if they just start serving their boneless wings 100% with bones,
they're fine.
Yeah,
They're
they're
fine.
okay. They're gonna be.
I mean, people aren't going to go there, but yeah.
Right. It was called Wings on Brookwood in Butler County, is what it was called. So I don't think it was a. I don't think
It's just a mom. No,
Yeah.
I'll say boneless wings.
Yeah. There was an assumption of risk. Assumption of bones.
Charlie made a great point at the very beginning, which, I mean, technically, the Supreme Court is right. It is a different cooking method, because the cooking method is taking the bones out.
It's like they.
Wait, that's not what they said.
They just stopped.
Yeah,
They're like, it's a different cooking
They kind of
method.
changed the answer a little bit to be like, we're both wrong.
Yeah. Let's agree to disagree.
I'm curious what the motivation is for, like, this had to go through several different courts. Like, local,
judges have to
like
write
federal,
papers.
district, appellate, like Supreme Court. It went through like at least 25 different judges, and all of them decided, yes, boneless wings have bones in them, actually.
Well, no, at least a majority in each case.
Yeah.
Does that tell you that maybe we're wrong?
Well, we're leaving out such a big fact. All of these courts were in Ohio.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
It says more that there's a systemic problem, right? If even court judges are afraid to stand up to Big Chicken because they're afraid of like standing up against there potentially being a bone in their chicken, there needs to be a change.
This makes me want to go to Ohio and track the Supreme Court like they're walking paths and then gank them on the street and be like, do boneless chicken wings have bones in them? And they'd be like, what? No. And I'd be like, I gotcha. And then run away.
That's the thing. I feel like if you ask them, do boneless wings have bones?
That's what one of the dissenting judges said.
Yeah.
So who's lobbying this?
Like it legitimately has to be corruption.
Well, the thing is that guy could have sued, and one of the judges is like, no, it's a different cooking style, and it's like, well, no, I'm going to appeal this, and then 23 judges agreed with him, and the other guy was like, I'm appealing this 23 times.
So here's,
and then the Supreme Court's like, the first guy.
here's my devil's advocate, and not really. It's just kind of like a half-baked thought. Maybe you guys will say something about it. The only reason that the chicken fingers comment makes sense is because they always think about precedent. And what kind of precedent could this set if they had gone in the other direction?
Like saying boneless wings have to have no bones. It would implicate a lot more regulation in that field of making have fingers. And
Exactly. That's
There's but I feel like that regulation though is already there. Like I don't know many people that get a boneless wing and immediately get like a fucking bone in it.
But I could almost. I can't guarantee, but I feel like if it's packaged like kind of like the Tyson.
I looked at the Tyson, by the way. It says 100% natural, and
they might have to have something on it that says like there might be a bone in this somewhere.
That might have to do with one of the things that they use to kind of determine the legality of this, called the foreign natural test, whether something would be present in that product in any stage of its creation, or if it's foreign, like a piece of glass would be foreign, or like a chicken bone would, I guess, be natural in the chicken of the boneless wing variety. I can't even.
It would, but it would be because it came from a chicken.
like coming from the organism that you're eating, that pufferfish that people eat, right? You have to have it prepared a specific way.
You should have a reasonable expectation to be dead.
If they started making the pufferfish and they were like, this is poisonless pufferfish. It is something that comes from the pufferfish, but it is being advertised as we took it out. Like 100% we took it out. If someone eats it and they get poisoned, I feel like that's...
But here's what I don't know, and I'm genuinely asking this question. If someone eats fugu and they do get poisoned, is the chef liable? Probably not. It's probably on the consumer for taking that risk, right?
I think most places fugu is like a back alley kind of thing. I don't think.
Well, it's legal. It's legal in other countries, just not here.
It's a high-end dish from what
But I think you have to sign some sort of waiver.
I think the chef
which removes liability.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What we're saying here now is solve this all. You should have to sign a waiver to get boneless.
Eat food. Any place you go to.
Can you imagine he goes up to the counter, the cashier just turns around, smacks a big sign that says bones may be in boneless wings.
So
might have bones in his glass.
We are doing opposite science, because in science you look at the data and you try and draw a conclusion. We have the conclusion: boneless wings should not have bones in them, and now we need to see what we need to do to make sure that is true. Right? Like,
oh, he's doing it.
Finally.
Drawing a wing. Is it? No, it's chicken.
It's a chicken.
I literally can't see that at all.
Here, wait.
It's also against the black background. There we go. Now I can.
Yeah.
Well, also the marker is just kind of.
That's this is excellent.
This is a really good chicken. Chicken is standing with bones or without bones?
Well, this depends on if you're eating it.
Bones in there, or
Matt, you should get that as a tattoo.
Yeah, we're done if you wait. There's like a zoom in bone.
Wow, that marker is so wide I cannot see it at all.
Yeah, it's a bird. Make sure you get it hollow.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That's also a great point too. We need to take that into account, the hollow bones.
That's true, but it's not like implicate a nationwide health crisis if bones start appearing in boneless chicken.
Yeah, right? It's wildly dangerous.
You're giving so much to like Tyson and big corporations that are just going to be like, well, fuck.
Do you think that's what I'm saying? it comes back to regulation. I feel like if they set a precedent of like there cannot be like you can be sued if there's a bone found in your chicken, set the bar for that. So much more money has to be spent on regulation in big chicken.
Then they don't have to be as strict with making sure the bones are gone. They can just leave them in and be like the dude in Ohio's like, hey, well.
Well, I even read that he cut them into 2 or 3 pieces before he ate it. So like he cut them and
I am more leaning like this guy's just an idiot.
That's why they went against it. They were like, what? You're boneless? You can fucking have bones in there, man. You don't give a
that baby down.
Yeah.
You're good.
Through all of that, I'm like, how did you swallow an inch-long piece?
I think he did that on purpose.
He must have. I mean, I think that
we have video evidence.
Yeah, we need to see.
Can you imagine we watch him pull out a bone?
Yeah, right. We find him with a fucking inch-long bone in his pocket, like a pocket, like a little gap right there.
Do you think that they were sending the Tyson hitman to like all of the Supreme Justice's house, being like, "I'm the chicken man. You will not go through with the boneless order," and they were like, "Okay." Yeah.
Briefcase. He's like, do you mind if I come in?
What is this? And it's like, that's a wing. He's like, this is boneless.
Do you see the deep fry?
It's boneless now.
They're all boneless. Do you know how I cook this?
Do you want to be boneless? I'll debone you.
I want to look up like a Twitter discussion right now because I bet there's so many people like actual brain dead people going like, well, actually, I always knew there was bones and boneless. I think that's all those fucking chemtrails.
It's everybody.
It's fascinating too, because like from a professional kitchen standpoint, I'm sure a lot of restaurants like Applebee's and Chili's just get them kind of shipped in, like already pre-mealed. But if it's like a mom and pop place, there's a chance they get real wings and debone them there and then cook them.
Nothing's real anymore. They just drop ship them.
Yeah,
that's true. Boneless wing Wikipedia.
Boneless wing Wikipedia,
That's
right?
a good history of the boneless wing.
Yeah, this is a little off topic, but it's been in my head since we talked about what the definition of a boneless wing is.
Yeah, right.
It says cut into wing shapes.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a boneless wing that was cut into a wing shape?
No. Which is crazy.
Have I had them cut into dinosaurs?
Yes.
Sir. Never a wing.
What's the difference between a boneless wing and a chicken nugget?
Words.
In Ohio, nothing.
So
Yeah. Or a chicken nugget.
In Ohio, the bones.
Yeah. The bones, literally.
So you have the chicken tender.
Chase, you need a different marker, brother.
Okay. I'll use the bone.
I literally can't see
How
that.
about that?
I don't think anyone
If you use a
can.
yard marker instead
Here.
of like wall, maybe.
Chase, use one of those down at the towards that one.
You might also be able to turn it against that wall for better.
Oh yeah.
Anything that's got a white, just do it yesterday.
Oh, well, that's important because we can draw on a Shrek, and you never know.
Yeah.
So boneless
That's
wing refer to meat sold without the bones.
Tender.
Well,
Not anymore.
that's Wikipedia, right?
Yeah, but they have to get sold.
Tender.
What's their
Tender is good.
Bones.
A nugget. Nugget, we get a little bit more freestyle.
Yay.
They can be anything. Usually like this.
Oh my god, that's one of the McDonald's.
Sometimes they're big dinosaurs.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Also, are they dino nuggets or dino nugs? I've seen the
Dino nuggies. According to the Supreme Court, they might be dino wings from that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Another dino boneless
But
wing.
a wing, a boneless wing, is usually sometimes a combination of these two.
Right. The shape
Right.
is amorphous.
Like it's like it'll just go wherever it wants, but it's got the elongation of a tender from sometimes.
I would say a boneless wing is normally has more depth to it, like a
It's like a ball.
tender and
All right. Top 5 worst movies, huh? Let's do it.
Are you gonna do the top 5 movies of the year? Probably. I do it every year. I'll do top 5 best and worst games and movies. It's been a very competitive year for top 5 worst movies. Oh god, it's been cutthroat. Is Craven in top 5 for worst? No. That's how bad some of the movies have been this year. Craven is not in my top 5. Actually, you know what? I can do the top 5 worst movies of the year now. I don't think there's any other super stinkers coming out between now and the end of the year, right? I think it's safe to go through the top 5 worst. Okay. Here, we'll just pull up a list of all the movies and we'll go through it and check for worst movies of the year. Oh man, I forgot Night Swim was this year. That was the very beginning of the year and we got one of the worst horror movies the year had. But it's actually, Again, you know what's crazy? Night Swim is not in my top 5 worst movies of the year. That is how competitive this year's been for trash. It's been like 2024 is a year for the history books in terms of how shit movies can be. It's been unbelievable. But here, I'll make a special note for Night Swim up here. Madam Web. Oh my god. It's hard to believe that that was less than or only a month after Night Swim. And we had such a fiery start for dog shit. Madam Web would definitely be in my top 5. It's just a matter of where. This movie, actually probably one of the worst superhero movies ever made.
Yeah. So I had that the chicken drawing already. This one. I was like, I'll just talk about chicken. I'm done with that other drawing. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the other one, just play around with that one.
Nothing happens in it. It's also one of the very few movies I fell asleep during. So at the end of the movie where I was reaching its big like climactic final battle, I already forgot who the villain was. I fell asleep for a little bit. It's just very bad. Everything about it. I don't think I could possibly fish for a compliment even if my family was held at gunpoint. But it's not the worst movie of the year. I still firmly believe it's Borderlands, but we'll get into it. We'll keep going through the list. Imaginary. Another horrible horror movie. I don't think there was a good... No, there was a few good horror movies. I was about to get a little off my gourd there with that claim. The horror movies this year were something very special in terms of being shitty. Most of them weren't even fun bad. They were just almost unwatchably bad. Imaginary is not in my top 5 worst movies of the year, but it's horrible. Just a genuine waste of time. Going to a movie like Imaginary is just like going to sleep, but worse. Because at least when you wake up from sleep, you feel better. With Imaginary, you just kind of go into stasis and feel like shit at the end, and you're out like $15. Oh, Rebel Moon Part 2. Oh, that's going to be tough. I hate it more than I hate Night Swim and Imaginary. This movie actually made me go and do homework, where I went through and calculated. I actually still have the notes here from it because I spent so much time doing this. I went through and I calculated exactly how long these movies spend in slow-mo. So I made a whole video going over how much slow-mo is in there, time-stamping each slow-mo instance, and it's, what was it, 21% of these movies are spent in slow motion? It's so bad. It doesn't even have the decency to tell a compelling story. Like, there's a couple of good action moments and a few decent ideas and a couple of cool cinematic shots, but it's all wrapped together in just a fucking hemorrhoid. But don't let Snyder fans hear you say that. They like to live in the delusion that this is the next big Star Wars. That might be in my top 5. That's gonna be tough. That might be in my top 5. It definitely kicks out Night Swim from being viable for top 5 because I hate this more. Oh, Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. I mean, yeah, it's just like a throwaway cash grab piece of shit. But I'm sure kids will just sit there and let it brainwash them if their parents don't feel like watching them. I can't even be that mad about that one. I think Tarot might be the worst horror movie of the year. I don't think any horror movie beat Tarot for being trash. Like, this is just irredeemable garbage. Every piece of this film just doesn't work. It's as generic as it gets, but it actually has stupider characters in this horror movie than any that I can think of off the top of my head. I think this is probably the worst horror movie of the year. This has to be top 5 for that. I feel like Night Swim was worse than Tarot. I don't know, though. Like, Night Swim, even from a conceptual standpoint, is worse than Tarot. It's about a haunted pool. The pool is built on cursed water. It's bad. And the dad goes in there and it heals him, but it also like steals his soul, and there's like a fat guy who splashes around. Like, it's dumb. It's super dumb. But that's like silly, fun, stupid, kind of. Tarot is not. It's just a headache. A nauseating chore to sit through. Your description makes me want to see it. No, trust me, the concept is a lot better than just the film. Like, the concept in and of itself is inherently silly, but the film is way too serious for it. It just sucks. It's miserable to watch. This is the one that had the trailer where it was like Marco, where the girl's in the pool saying Marco, and then you hear Bolo, and then like a splash. It's one of those bad YouTuber horror shorts, but as a movie, more or less. Oh man, The Strangers Chapter 1. It really is impressive just how bad this year was for horror movies. Everything about this was just a downgrade. It's definitely not my top 5 worst films of the year though, but it is very bad. You thought this would be good too. I mean, I like The Strangers. Was I wrong for having a little faith in the property? What is the charge? Enjoying a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Like, I mean, I thought it was going to be good. How can you ruin The Strangers? But they found a way. The Watchers was also really bad. This was M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's directorial debut.
Oh, yeah.
Really kicked it off with a wet fart. There are people that really liked this movie, though, which I was surprised by. Because I don't know how anyone walks away from this theater feeling anything other than bored. Definitely not in the top 5 worst. Exorcism super sucked. This was Russell Crowe in his flop era. It's also like the second Exorcist he played in the last like 2 years. The Exorcism was fun and I stand by it. How could you possibly stand by that? What happened? Did you walk into the theater, see the intro, and walk out? Because the intro's great. Like the first like 15 minutes of the film, I thought it was pretty good. And then everything else is really bad. It's not the worst though. Oh, it's far from the worst. This is definitely not in top 5. It's probably not even in top 5 worst horror movies of the year, but it's still just not good. And I know Russell Crowe's just collecting bags. I get it. I'm not mad at him. And in this movie, contrary to Craven, he actually did put an effort. Like, I do think Russell Crowe put in a good effort. Like, the possessions in there, like, he really did try with this. It's just the material was so flat to work with. It's just, the movie itself didn't deserve him trying. This was M. Night Shyamalan's new movie. Apparently people really like this film. I don't know how, unless you just like watching concerts. Because half of this movie is a concert, and the second half, then it changed. I won't spoil it, I guess. This one's probably a little too new to get into spoilers. But you're fundamentally just watching M. Night Shyamalan's daughter have a concert. But it's definitely not in the top 5 worst. Oh wait, never mind. I was thinking of Pope's Exorcist. You see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? You couldn't even remember what fucking movie I was talking about with Russell Crowe and his exorcism roles because he takes so many and they're also underwhelming and forgettable. You see it? You see what I'm saying now, Archive? Case in point. And here it is. Worst movie of the year, Borderlands. It has to be Borderlands. Borderlands is not only insulting to anyone that likes Borderlands, it's insulting to anybody with eyes. There is nothing to enjoy about it. There's not a single joke that gets told that can even elicit the slightest smile or even the semblance of a smirk. Every joke is just a complete flub, and it's just annoying. The CGI is bad. Everything about it is bad. It's just, it's gotta be the worst movie of the year. And also, $110 million, $120 million budget for this piece of shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is the only good joke about it, to be honest. That huge box office blunder. Your review of this movie took place in a hotel room. It did. We all got together, including the Apex boys, and we went and watched Borderlands together. And everyone was mad at me for suggesting it. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be good. I knew going into it wasn't going to be good. I could have never imagined it would be that bad. That entire budget went to this star-studded cast for no reason. I still don't understand why you have a near 60-year-old woman playing this role. Like, nothing against her. Like, she was clearly just cashing in the bag, but Cate Blanchett is like the worst possible fit for the siren. It's unbelievable. It had nothing to do with the games either. Not that not even that that's my biggest complaint. Even if you don't know anything about Borderlands, I don't think there's a single thing to like about this movie. Megalopolis is definitely in the top 5 worst films of the year. No doubt. Where would I put Megaflopolis? That's a tough one. I do still occasionally think about Adam Driver when he's talking to the girl and he starts hitting her with like the Reddit fedora tipping like explanation for, you know, her being a partier and him not being one or whatever. He's like, well, I actually have to crunch some quarks. As you see, I'm very busy running an empire. I'm building something that your feeble mind couldn't possibly comprehend. So why don't you go back to the club and get out of here? Like, it is fun bad in a lot of ways. Like, there are things to enjoy about the shittiness of Megalopolis, and I think that might save it from being the second worst film of the year. You skipped Afraid. Oh, you're right. Where was Afraid? It's not in my top 5 worst films of the year, but that movie was also pretty bad. This one's about AI. They basically just get an Alexa AI that starts to threaten them because she wants to be mom.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
It's pretty stupid. Again, not in my top 5 worst films of the year, but man, that's like something that your like uncle would pitch you on an idea for. Like, check this out. AI. It's evil. What do you think?
AI.
And that's about as deep as the movie gets. Joker 2 is definitely in the top 5 worst of the year. And not because I think it's objectively worse than something like A Night Swim or An Imaginary, because it's not as bad as those. Like, speaking purely from like a outside perspective. But the disappointment of this movie and just how off the rails and how badly it missed the mark, it has to be in the top 5 worst of the year. Like, this is the most disappointing movie I think I've ever seen. Turning it into a musical, not even a good musical, didn't even have the fucking chutzpah to deliver good musical numbers. Tells a terrible story as well. God, and Todd Phillips, every time he opens his mouth, Christ. Ugh. Like, listening to an Amy Schumer routine is less painful. Everything Todd Phillips has to say about this movie just sucks. No, you guys just really didn't understand it. You see, he's not the Joker. This isn't a movie about the Joker. How deep? How very profound, Todd. And then that brings us to Craven. Alright, Craven doesn't reach top 5 worst of the year. Bad movie for sure, but definitely not worse than Madam Web. I think this will probably be our, oh, this is 6. Someone's gonna have to get, oh wait, no. Yeah, wait, someone's gonna have to get cut. Oh shit. Also, apparently Craven opened to a lower box office start than even Madam Web, which I don't think anyone's surprised by. Damn. What would I cut here? Rebel Moon Part 2, Madam Web, Tarot, Borderlands, Megalopolis, or Joker? It'd probably be Rebel Moon Part 2. That'd probably just be outside of my top 5 worst films of the year. I don't think it stands up to these kings of garbage. Rebel Moon is worse than Tarot. Okay, let's not get carried away. Alright, now we're just spewing some nonsense. I hate Rebel Moon as much as the next guy. I wake up extra early to have more hours in the day to shit on Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon series. But I'm not going to let that cloud my eyes here and say that it's worse than Tarot. That's ridiculous. I'm going to have to cut this. It didn't make the top 5 worst films of the year. These are our top 5. So now the order. I think the order would go Joker at the 5 slot for worst film of the year. Probably next would be Tarot at number 4. Then Megalopolis at number 3. Madam Web at number 2 and Borderlands at number 1. I think that's how I'd do it. I don't ironically watch Tarot over Rebel Moon because at least it's short and has no slow-mo, which is its only saving grace. But we can't look at it that way. Brother, you don't have to hard sell me on how shitty Rebel Moon is. I have an entire note an entire note page dedicated to everything I hate about Rebel Moon. I know. But on my integrity as a shit connoisseur, a fucking poop sommelier, I have to look at this from an objective lens. Which is why Red 1's not here. And it's why Rebel Moon Part 2 is not here. So you'd rather sit down and watch Rebel Moon over Tarot. If I had to, I would sit down and watch Rebel Moon over Tarot. If you fucking forced me to, I would. Which actually defeats the entire point of your question, because if I was forced to, I wouldn't have a choice. If I was given two choices, I had to sit down and watch either Tarot or Rebel Moon, I would pick Rebel Moon, is the point I'm trying to make. Brother, I would have to smoke the crack you found in that shitty hotel. You know what? It's my top 5 shittiest films of the year, and I'm sticking to it. Rebel Moon did not make it. It's number 6. It just missed it. It fucking tickled on it. It was close. Tarot is worse. I can't believe we're splitting hairs over what's worse, Rebel Moon or Tarot. Zack Snyder thinks Rebel Moon is groundbreaking. The director of Tarot probably did it for money. I cannot believe we're still locked in this Thunderdome in fucking debate club. We cannot be taking these extenuating factors, these other variables from outside of the film itself. Zack Snyder is delusional when it comes to Rebel Moon. He said like over 1 billion people have watched Rebel Moon. He said it's like bigger than Barbie or whatever. I know. He's a clown when it comes to Rebel Moon. It doesn't change the fact that Tarot is a worse movie. This is a top 5 worst movies on their merit, not the director huffing his own farts. Should I give Borderlands a shot if I like bad movies? No, there's nothing to enjoy about Borderlands, even as a fun bad movie. It's miserable.
God. That's all he says about everything. It was great.
A few nights ago on stream, I watched a little bit of a video called I Got Divorced Over Yu-Gi-Oh! And I went into it, like lollipop and spinny hat, thinking it was going to be like good, silly fun. Like I thought it was like an exaggeratory title where he was telling a story about how his wife walked in like Seto Kaiba and ripped his blue eyes, and then he said, enough is enough. We'll play a shadow game to decide the fate of our marriage. And then they divorced or something. But the reality is, it's a very honest and open look at an unhealthy relationship, and it's one that I went back and finished the video for and have been thinking about since. So in a nutshell, this guy had a YouTube channel that was dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh! And he was actually paying his bills through the content he was making. So it's not like this was a hobby that was destructive to him. He wasn't going out on the streets and selling his butt for Yu-Gi-Oh! Briefcases of cards. Like, he was making a living through Yu-Gi-Oh! And his YouTube channel, but his wife didn't really like it. She didn't have any respect for it, and it basically boiled down to he married like his #1 hater, and she eventually wore him down enough to the point where he did abandon the hobby and his YouTube channel because she just thought it was kind of cringe, I guess. Like, I'm not saying in every healthy relationship your partner has to, get into whatever hobby you're into, but at the very least, the bare minimum is being understanding and supportive of it. Like, I'm not saying she had to go out there and get a tier 0 deck or learn how to pendulum summon so she could start banishing assholes to the Shadow Realm, but maybe don't be constantly spitting and shitting on your husband for something that he's clearly passionate about and something that is actively making him money. I got divorced over Yu-Gi-Oh!
I need to say this, and I'm going to say it straight out the way. I am no longer married, and I'm divorced.
More time for Yu-Gi-Oh! You can grind. YCS pretty soon, I think. Can't remember when the next YCS is. But you got so much time now.
When I met this woman, and I told her about my Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, she hated it. She didn't like it. She said that, hey, you can do something better with your life. You should go back to school.
Alright, I hate that. Man, just let someone have hobbies. Like, who cares? It's not hurting anyone. Not hurting you. It's nerdy. Sure. Who cares? It's a hobby. I bet she had stupid hobbies too. Everyone does.
I said, you know what? Maybe she's right. And you know what I did? I sold all my equipment. I sold my YouTube channel. Whoa. I sold all my camera stuff. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. Maybe it's time for me to do something better with my life. Not knowing that at that time, what I had was very special. At that time, something that I was supposed to do, YouTube, I gave it up because someone said, hey, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. You gotta do something better with your life.
There are times where someone's hobby is detrimental to them, whether it's financially draining or mentally draining. Like, that is a problem, and that's where you come in and say, like, hey, maybe it's time we look for something else, try a different path, and move on to something else. But that's not the case here. This guy had a channel, and his YouTube and Yu-Gi-Oh hobby were helping sustain him and pay bills. So her coming in there, fee-fi-fo-fumming around, marching up to him, saying like, "You gotta move on," makes no fucking sense. Like, that's so stupid. Just basically saying it's time to grow up. You know, this is a children's card game. We don't do this as adults. It's time to be a real man, a real adult, and start doing crypto scams. Like, it's just silly.
And she's no longer here. And this problem persists. She told me at that time, "Hey, you want to meet my mother? You need a car." Because I didn't have a car at the time. I was doing YouTube. I was working from home. I didn't need to drive anywhere.
Chasing the dream.
YouTube is what I did for a living. It's how I paid my bills. And I was street performing also. How did I street perform? I just catch the bus 20 minutes down the street, played my horn, went home. I never needed a car. Even though I explained to her, this is what I chose to do.
Why did she even come into your life then? It sounds like she didn't respect your hobby. She didn't respect your drive, your passion, or anything. Why the fuck was she even here?
For real.
Just to completely change you? That's sad. And there's definitely a limit too. Like, if you're obsessed with a hobby and it's actually a detriment on your life, which it doesn't sound like it was for him, then I can understand someone coming in and be like, all right, look, maybe we need to reevaluate this. You know, maybe, collecting fucking, I don't know, jelly beans and putting all your money into antique jelly beans is, taking its toll. Maybe we should look at other things so you can get out of the house, you can start, finding something else. I get it. But it doesn't sound like it was to that point here. This is just sad. I imagine the channel is generating income. He just said he was paying his bills through YouTube and street performing. So he was making money. He was perfectly sustaining himself. At least that's the impression I get. She was probably embarrassed to tell her friends what he does for a living. Well, then don't be with him. If you're embarrassed of your significant other, why are you with them in the first place? That's on you. If you don't respect them, don't be with them. It's bad for both you and the partner. I feel like this probably happens a lot, although I've only seen it happen to one of my friends once, where he got with a girl that just really didn't like anything about him. Or, what are you doing there?
Yeah.
Why are you choosing to be with this person
It makes
if
no sense.
the goal is to change everything about them, to turn them into a blank canvas for you to paint on? That this doesn't make sense. Find someone that's more compatible with the things you like at that point. Like in this case, she comes in and she just doesn't like any of it. You're going to flush Yu-Gi-Oh down the shitter. You're going to go back to school. Honestly, it sounds like a mom that's trying to discipline their kid. Like, all right, no more Xbox. We're unplugging the Xbox, and you're going to go to school twice as much now. Somehow, we're gonna find extra school for you to go to. It's just so fucking toxic. This guy was doing just fine. He was providing for himself through his passion, through his ambition, his hobbies, but it didn't fit what she thought was acceptable. So she goes in there and tries to force him to do all of it, and unfortunately succeeds where he does abandon his hobbies and his passion for her, for this relationship. And that just shouldn't have been a sacrifice that he was forced to make for the sake of the relationship. He didn't need to tribute summon his hobby in order to get his wife's appreciation for what she believes is an acceptable idea for an adult hobby. It was making money, it was paying his bills, and it's something he loved doing. Why change that? There's really no good argument I can think of for it. Sounds like she just hated Yu-Gi-Oh! She must have been more of a Digimon gal.
So, she hated those cards. She literally cried because of those cards. And people say, hey, priorities, man. It's your wife, or, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You tell me your wife was crying about Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards.
But then I'll be back at that point where I'm giving up things that I like, things that's a part of my life for someone else to feel happy. And I feel miserable in the process. I love that. I miss that. Why can't she come along with my journey instead of scrutinizing me? And then that's money gone from me. It's not about the money, but that was money gone from me.
That was his career. Man, what a disaster. What a shame. Imagine your Yu-Gi-Oh! Passion being so epic it makes your wife cry. My husband has mastered the shadow games. Damn! Fuck! I want nothing more than my partner loving their job, man. I'd cry tears of joy. I imagine that's how it works in most healthy relationships, brother. I feel like it's kind of important to have, like, respect. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's kind of basic. He triggered her trap card of divorce. Now, another thing I was thinking about when I went back and watched the whole video is that there is a time where a hobby becomes too consuming, where it starts straining the relationship. Like, maybe he was always fiddling around with those Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you know, by candlelight in like a dark room, and, you know, scratching at his neck for more Yu-Gi-Oh cards and ignoring his wife and letting the relationship start to crumble around him because it's always Yu-Gi-Oh all the time. But I don't think that was the case here. And you'll see why I think that in a moment, the more he explains about how it got to that point. And it's not all about Yu-Gi-Oh! He does talk about how a big part of his life has always been music and street performing, and even that wasn't acceptable to her or her parents, really.
I met the parents. They asked me, hey, what do you do for a living? I had to tell them I am a musician. I couldn't tell them I was a street musician. I am a musician. Then they said, hey, you have a degree? I said, I don't have a degree. My ex-wife parents did not speak to me for 2 years and told her not to marry me because I don't have a degree.
That's fucking brutal, and to me, it blows my little noodle because this guy was doing so fine on his own. He was paying all of his bills. He was living just fine with the money he was making through Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube content and street performing music. And he'll talk about it in a moment, he was making enough money where he could provide for both himself and his wife through those passions. Yet, they wanted him to just burn it all to the ground, fucking salt the earth, so he could restart with what they think is acceptable, which was going back to school to get a degree and getting a 9-to-5 job. Both things that he did do. Well, he got the 9-to-5 job and attempted school, but school wasn't working out super well for him. But he did everything for that relationship to try and make her happy and be like an acceptable partner in his ex-wife's parents' eyes.
So I give up this YouTube thing. I give up my entrepreneurial thing. I try to do something that's not innately a part of my strengths at all, because I'm thinking I'm in love to do something for somebody to prove something. So when we got married and we moved up to Baltimore to somewhere else I didn't want to be, she said, hey, how come you're not paying the bills? And I was like, what? I have a job. I have a 9-to-5 job. I don't make enough from this 9-to-5 job to pay all these bills. Before then, I could street performing and YouTube. I made enough money off of that to pay the bills. Now I'm working 9-to-5 all day long, and that's not a complaint, because there are people who do that. But I had something that most people wish they had.
He's right. He had the dream job. He literally had the wet dream most people wish they had, which is their hobby, their passion, being able to sustain them. So they don't have to do something that makes them miserable just to survive. And he says, like, he gave all of that up for her and this relationship, and that new shiny 9-to-5 that he got, all to please his wife, because she believed that that was the only real way to grow up and, you know, move on from Yu-Gi-Oh! And street performing music. Well, that 9-to-5 couldn't pay the bills for both of them. And that's the unfortunate reality of where America is right now. I talk about this a lot. The normal salary you make at like a 9-to-5, you can't fucking live off of that in like a 2-person household. That just it's impossible. Things are way too expensive, especially in certain locations. It's just not happening. It's an absolute shame. It's a fucking crime. I'm not going to just rant about that. I've done that plenty on stream. He had a job that could do that. Like, he had a job people kill over. And she just didn't like it. Found it cringe, I guess. Wasn't proud of his hobby and that job that was making him money. So forced is the wrong word, because he mentions as well, he made the choice. He ultimately chose to get rid of all of that for her, but she was pushing him to do it, and now he's miserable with this 9 to 5, and she's not happy because that 9 to 5 isn't able to pay all of the bills.
She said, hey, you need to find a hobby. I'm like, oh, let me play Yu-Gi-Oh again. So, last December, last year, I start my channel up again. I buy my channel back from Java. Like, oh, she gave me the okay to go into a hobby. You know what she said? You're spending too much time playing those cards. She said, why are you into those cards so much? I said, hey, I need to make a video about something.
After selling everything and starting over, he does eventually get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! To a certain extent where he picks up the hobby again, but his wife still just hates that the hobby he picked up was Yu-Gi-Oh! And YouTube. So he goes on to say how she just really didn't like it. That's when he gets into saying how she would like actually cry over Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's what I was saying, like, if it was completely consuming his whole life, where he was ignoring her and everything in the relationship was starting to just dwindle because he was too preoccupied with Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'd understand it. But from what I'm seeing and like going back to his channel, it doesn't seem like that was really the case. He was talking about how, since he'd been away from the game for an extended period of time, he needed to relearn it. He needed to catch up on all the new things with Yu-Gi-Oh! So he could make content around it. So he'd be able to be knowledgeable on it, which is perfectly understandable, I'd say. And it doesn't seem like he took it to an excessive degree. It's his passion, it's his hobby, it's what he wanted to do, and it's what he was doing, so he wanted to get back to it. He recognized just how much of a gift being able to do that and make money off of it was, and he wanted that back. So he was getting back into the hobby. She still really hated it. And one thing led to another, and now they're no longer together. And it seems like the big reason is because of Yu-Gi-Oh! The deeper issue is that she had absolutely no respect for his passion, and she wasn't supportive and seemed like was embarrassed of him. So it's two people that should have never been together in the first place.
Mhm.
He gave up everything he loved to try and make her happy, but she was never really happy with the man that he actually is. So it's just very incompatible, and they tried to make it work, and it didn't work. And both people, I think, were not happy as a result of the relationship. Hopefully going forward, they both find better partners. Hopefully this guy's starting over on his YouTube channel. Luckily he was able to buy it back. Hopefully he is able to find that success that he once had. And yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about it because I just found it to be one of the more honest videos I've seen on the platform about a subject like this. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I know this gets said all the time, but it's true, and it's sad. People will believe in anything. Today I just learned about slapping therapy, which I'd never heard of before. And you would think me, of all people, someone who has covered slapping tournaments for years, would have heard about slapping therapy, but even I couldn't imagine something so stupid. And today, a practitioner is being jailed for 10 years due to the death of a 71-year-old woman at one of his slapping therapy workshops. And it turns out he's also responsible for the death of a 6-year-old boy at one of those slapping therapy workshops. Now, when I first read the headline, I thought he was going in there just like KOing people with slaps and trying to convince them that it was a good thing. He was healing them through, like, you know, slapping the soul out of their body temporarily, like in Doctor Strange when she like fucking palms his whole spirit out. Like, I really thought these workshops were basically just like a fucking fight club where he was throwing frying pans at people's faces with these big meaty slaps and saying like, all right, all of a sudden your cold is healed. But that's not the case. It's actually far more ridiculous than that.
Catching cold. Once you catch cold, you may have different symptoms. You feel weak, you got a runny nose, easily find a big bone sticking out here.
So you can just hold the area and just do the stretching here. Either with this hand or with this hand, or on both sides. Or you can do this way.
That's the entire healing method. If anything's going wrong, start slapping yourself. I'm not shitting you. That's actual baby brain stuff like, ooh, I got a tummy ache. Let me slap the tummy ache away. Oh, geez. That's the entire method. It's called Paida Lagine, I think is how you say it. and this is like their preeminent expert in it who now has 2 corpses under his belt from it. Now, if you're wondering how this killed people, it's because the 71-year-old woman had attended one of his workshops, and she was a type 1 diabetic, and for years she wanted to find an alternative way of healing herself without needles. Then she eventually met Turbo Goober Zhao and attended one of his slapping workshops where she called him a messenger sent by God, starting a revolution to put the power back in the hands of the people to cure themselves and to change the whole system of healthcare. It is frightening how people could get that impression through someone just slapping themselves and claiming that it'll cure your diseases and make you healthy. But just like V-Bucks on Christmas Day, she bought it. She was fully on board, hook, line, and sinker to the self-healing slap technique, the forbidden jutsu, and she stopped taking her insulin, instead just slapping it away. And Zhao said, well done, congratulating her on it. And eventually she started vomiting, got tired and weak, and then was howling in pain, unable to respond, and passed away. The 6-year-old boy passed away in similar fashion, where his parents stopped giving him insulin after they attended his workshops, because his workshops claimed that they would slap away the poisonous waste, which is the same nomenclature, the same verbiage you hear from all of these con artists that promote this absolute ridiculous dog shit that doesn't work. And now he's killed 2 people as a result of it. This one, I think, is one of the more baffling alternative healing methods that people buy into, because you can immediately see it doesn't work, because he's saying that it basically does everything. This is like a fucking fairy godparent that Timmy Turner would have that would make all of your wishes come true, as long as you can slap yourself for it.
I would guess 80% of the problems or the symptoms will be gone after doing those. If that is still not enough, you can do the whole chest here, like this. You can do it by yourself. Here, see? This side, see, here. Then the whole area right in the middle. If you have someone around you, you can ask them with both hands here, and also at the back. After doing what we call carpet bombing, all these areas.
This asshole watched Patrick Star ham bone in an episode of SpongeBob, and then said, I can make an entire business out of that. So now his whole thing is that you can cure anything through slapping yourself. So he calls it carpet bombing on your chest when you're slapping a cold away like this. But what's crazy is, anyone who would watch this and maybe think for even a fucking millisecond that this might work, would try this when they had a cold and learn that it doesn't work. You can't fucking slap away a cold. But that's not enough proof for them. Even though it doesn't work, they still believe in it. He actually made a video addressing the death of that 6-year-old where he doesn't actually say anything, he doesn't actually address anything, he just keeps saying, it's an accident over and over. And the comment section is nothing but swallowing his meat.
Now more about the accident happened in Australia for that little boy. What I want to say is, first of all, this is an accident. When I say this is an accident, that means this has nothing to do with the workshop. It is purely an accident.
It actually has everything to do with the workshop, because he encourages everyone to just slap everything away to get that poisonous waste out of their body, all that toxic sludge that's infesting their body through some of this, some of that. And then the parents who got brainwashed into believing it took their child off insulin as a result of these workshops. Now, of course, the parents of the boy are brain-dead idiots that should never see the light of day outside of a jail cell again. They are too stupid to be reintegrated into society. But that stupidity was manipulated by this scam artist, and it led to the death of that 6-year-old. Now, the comment section here is people supporting him. And I do mean every single comment is just down here practicing their own brand of slap healing by slapping his meat into their mouth. So they're just talking about how this isn't going to stop them from spreading the gospel of Paida Lejin and changing the world one slap at a time. This guy saying this is not in any way your fault, you're actually trying to help heal people. How? By slapping them and putting them into an early grave when they inevitably get too brainwashed and take themselves off life-saving medication like insulin. Like, it's crazy to me. that even when someone dies from this, and even when every single person in this comment section can confirm it doesn't work, they still latch onto it, this fucking fantasy that this is somehow the secret that's healing everyone, and they're going to be an immortal being because they slap their chest 5 times a day. Now, I do understand why people seek out alternative healing methods, because medications and normal doctor visits are unbelievably expensive. And everyone knows how corrupt the big pharma is. Everyone knows that. I get it. So I'm not confused as to why people will look for other means of helping themselves and maybe fixing whatever ailments they might suffer from. But what I don't understand is why people will choose the most blatantly fraudulent practices to believe in. There are other healing methods that do actually have some benefits, but a lot of them are trash that you can just research yourself and confirm yourself don't work. But people will still just, for some reason, become this lifelong believer in it based on nothing. I don't know how someone could sit there and watch this dumb asshole slap a guy's arm and say that it's healing him.
For 1 minute, I mean to stop, okay? One minute. Look, see? Just in 1 minute. It's like more than double the color. Let's show to the doctors, the professionals.
Wow! Just like Jesus turning water into wine, Zhao just turned skin into bruised a little bit. He basically claims that Paida Lejeune can solve everything. And I mean everything, even baldness.
But this way is okay. Yeah, this is okay.
Not so fast. Slower and the next penetrate inside.
Okay, that's not good.
Man's actually teaching the Homer Simpson dough as a real method of curing your baldness. Brother, you're still bald. You should immediately be able to sniff out that this shit is not working. How? He can look in the mirror and recognize that his slapping head baldness therapy isn't working, yet still believes in it. I know it's overused with people saying this, but it is the truth. People will believe anything, absolutely anything, even something as comical as slapping therapy. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. He has so many videos and so many workshops and so many seminars where it's the same thing every time. Like there was one I saw for leg pain where he's saying, well, just slap the leg. That'll free it up. Just slap it a lot. It's everything. He's actually teaching people to fucking do like a knee slap when you hear a good joke, and it's gonna fix your fucking, sore muscles. Or, well, not sore muscles. What was it? I think he was looking to cure some kind of like chronic pain. I can't remember now. But the point is, even something as over the top absurd as this.
Just slap the guy's head.
Has people believing in it and worshiping Zhao. It's actually fucking crazy. Just sitting there playing people's head like drums. And they're like, oh yeah, he's curing him. He just fucking cured him. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Extraordinary work. In fact, actually clapping is a form of slapping. So every time you clap, you're actually cleansing your body of toxins. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. I just figured that one out through Zhao's teachings, actually. And the most pathetic part is no one will ever be able to get through to people that have already bought into it in this way that it is fake, that it is bogus. Even the death of the 71-year-old woman and the 6-year-old boy is not enough. That will only strengthen the believer's resolve in it, saying things like, oh, they must have done something wrong with the Paida Lejeune teaching. Zhao would never have misled us. He's healing all of us. He's a messenger sent by God. And the fact that they're jailing him now for this only proves to us that his teachings are a threat to the established medical order. So it must be true. His slapping techniques must be true if they just threw him in jail for it. There is nothing you can do to get people out of this. It sucks, man. Like, it's actually so sad. I'll stop ranting about it now, but it's fucking crazy. That's about it. See ya.
All right, everyone still watching. Thanks for watching me doodle nothing. I might continue to do this. It's just something I enjoy. You know, I'm not absolutely not an artist on any level. I'm coloring in lines. That's what I'm doing here, and not well. But thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'm gonna eat some food, and yeah, that's it. Peace out.